Gracias. Dummy, go take off your mask to eat, dummy. Breakfast time. Breakfast time. Here we are, Ryan and Sarah. We're a power couple. We do really power couple. No, we're living in Ecuador and we're exploring and eating cheese. And today we're in Hacienda Guachala. Guachala.
Guachala.
Guachala or Guachala?
The accent on that last day.
On the last day. Oh. Guachala. It is a former hacienda. It turned into a hotel, guest house. Had a nice peaceful sleep last night, starting with some breakfast today. Here comes some bread. Cafe. Perfect. I need the coffee because I am like barely functioning. So we're gonna have a look around. I want to show you guys all the different buildings, the history of it, tell you what a hacienda is. I'll tell you how much it costs to stay here for the night. And we're probably gonna jump on some horses, do some horseback riding. This place was actually built in 1585. So it's super duper old and it's also a little scary. It might be haunted. People have reported seeing ghosts here. And there's a lot of crazy kind of stories. You're making the whole table shake, Sarah.
I'm not touching it, it's you.
Including finding some human remains on site, human remains and a human fetus, maybe 5 human fetuses. Lots of cool stuff. So, buenos dias. Anything you want to add? No. You're not adding anything. Well then, jeez.
Other than you're a liar.
There, that's better.
And I published my video. It tells everyone that she feels like
See, here's a little, this is what it looks like. And you're looking at what it looks like. And we're sitting here, and we're just sitting here like eating breakfast.
Dropping them hits like blitz. I bought my cheese like Ritz. Fuck a vacay, don't trip. Y'all don't know people like this. 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 Y'all don't know people like this.
I think I might capture a ghost on video. First person ever to capture a ghost on video. That's not a ghost, it's a deer. So first I want to tell you what a hacienda is. It's basically an estate. It's a home with a business on it, usually like a plantation or a farm. The Spanish verb hacer means to make or to do, so that's where the name comes from, because they make and do stuff at a hacienda. And this particular one is 440 years old. It's the oldest in Ecuador.
This is una cámara.
Cámara, sí.
¿Cuánto cuesta?
Oh, I don't know. 300? 300?
300
Sí,
dólares.
sí. That is, that's Miguel. Miguel is, I think he's a groundskeeper here. He's been here for 26 years. We had a good conversation earlier. Okay, you can see this thing here. This is used to make fabric. It's obviously an antique, and it is a big part of the history of this place. Haciendas were created during Spanish colonization. This particular one was called an obraje. They used indigenous people to make fabric. This is a really cool room. Big lounge, got a pool table that's got a major wonk going on, ping pong table, all kinds of awards on the wall. Obrajes have a really bad reputation for doing terrible things. They basically made their own rules. They abused the indigenous people. If they paid them very little, but they usually would just give them room and board and stuff. I don't know the details of this particular one, but they have found what is like a prison here, and the owner discovered a room that he said probably was used for torturing people. Okay, let's head out to the courtyard, which is the heart of pretty much every hacienda, I imagine, which is this big space here. So we got rooms all along the edges and the courtyard. It hasn't been altered since the 1500s, apparently. The only thing they've changed is this centerpiece here, which used to be a sundial, and now they've kind of turned it into a fountain. But on the top of it here, it's hard to tell, but this This stone thing here is an indigenous artifact. They put it in the center of the fountain to kind of remind them that this was once indigenous land. Indigenous people actually inhabited this area long before the 1500s, and they know that because they had a group of archaeologists come stay here once, and they were practicing their skills on the property. That's why they came here, because there's a lot of history here, and they found a bunch of different human remains, skulls and stuff. And so they kind of determined that there was a civilization here at one time. Ugh. Let's go into the oldest building on the property, this little chapel here. This was built in 1580. It hasn't been used as a chapel since the 20s, but it was built on an old Inca ruin. So on these grounds here at one time, who knows what they were doing. The Incas had a lot of crazy rituals where they would mummify their dead, they would sacrifice people. So there's definitely a creepy feeling to the place. So you can see on the wall here, there's a mural. It's very faded, but you can see some of it here. Right here, 1757 this was painted. And it's definitely not in the best shape, but incredibly old. Really cool. Okay, let's head over to the newer church, probably one of the newest buildings on the site, but also one of the creepiest, I would say. Look at this giant cactus plant. Really cool property. I think the owners probably live in this building here. There's so many like cool items they have here, pottery and artifacts. Look at this old cabinet. This thing is amazing. This must be from like an old pharmacy or something. I don't know. It closes shut like that, and all of these little drawers. You come here and you just walk around. You just explore the corners of the property. Look at the plants, and it's a really cool, peaceful place to stay. Like peaceful, it's kind of a mix of nature and history, but also a little creepy, which is kind of fun. All right, so this is the Grand Church. It was built in 1938, and it is no longer a church right now. They are using it as a photography museum of sorts. All the doors to this place are like, don't open properly. Everything's old. So they got all these photos up. There's a guy, I forget his name. He's taken most of them, but he also put a lot of money into restoring this, and so they let him hang his photos here, I guess. But you can see this big old church. Hasn't been used in a long time. I don't know what's going on. I heard children laughing. There's children there. Okay, they're playing music too. It must not be ghosts. Jesus Christ. Let's go up to the balcony. Well, here you can get a better look at the rafters where they found mummified fetuses.
Babies?
So these are fetuses. They found them in the rafters of the building when they went to redo the roof.
Well, why?
They think that the indigenous people, they were like converted Catholics, but they wouldn't let them bury their unborn babies in the cemetery because they weren't baptized. So they like mummified them, then they stuffed them up in the rafters so they could be closer to God. Get a better view of the property from up here. This is the other half. So there's rooms in all here, all these as well, but these are former stables that they've converted into rooms. And you can see some of the animals over there. We're actually just 2 kilometers away from the equator. This is a really good spot to grow things. You can see over on this side, there's a ton of greenhouses. They're growing flowers mostly, but there's a lot of that around here. Driving in here, you just see tons of them. And Cayambe is a big mountain in Ecuador, and it is just on the other side of that hill, I believe. Snow-capped thing, it's beautiful. So I believe they own property right up into the hills here. The first ever eucalyptus trees in Ecuador were planted here, and they're also the biggest eucalyptus trees in Ecuador now. Hey, hey, hi puppy. Hey. I know he's gonna come up here now. He's a good boy. He's definitely a good boy. Where's that puppy? Where's the puppy? There he is. What are you doing? You coming up here to see me? All those steps just to get some pets? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Where's your brother? This is, I call him Nuzzy. My brother is Purplefoot, and then there's a cat named the Cat. These are just names I've made up for them. He's a good boy. Yeah, you're pretty good at begging for food too, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Watch, you stop petting and you go, cheers, okay, fine, I'll pet you some more. Jeez, crazy dog. You're gonna give me coronavirus. So Nuzzy is, obviously lives here. But there's been a lot of famous people that come through here. In the 1700s, the French geodesic mission was sent here. They were essentially the first people to kind of figure out the shape of the Earth. They came here to mark off the equator, and they sent some people down to the poles to mark that off and measure it, and they're basically determining what the shape of the Earth was. They believe that they stayed here. They don't really have definitive proof about that, but it's what I've been told, that they probably stayed here because they put the marker somewhere on the property when they marked the equator. Feeding time. Go get some.
Just a young kid trying to act out, black out. Wanna come around, best back down. Stuck for a minute, grew up, and the second time's changed. Just know that I'm back now. I was running around with a few kids. 09 summer, didn't do shit. By the water chilling, saw a few tits. Games with the drug, need a new fix.
Gabriel Garcia Moreno was president of Ecuador. He served 2 terms, and then he was elected for a 3rd. This was back in the 1800s, mid-1800s, and he was actually assassinated before he could start his 3rd term. He came here, he didn't own it, he just rented it and stayed here for quite a while. There was another guy who was going to be president. He was elected president, and then his opposition pulled the old Trump card and said that he was from Peru and he couldn't be president. He's from Peru, he's from Peru. And I don't know how they convinced whoever they needed to convince, but they said, okay, he can't be president. Years later, they determined, oh, actually, he was born in Quito. So to make up for that wrongdoing, they appointed him as the chairman of the Central Bank of Ecuador. So he lived here, he owned it at one point in time. There's a famous English scientist named Edward Whymper. He stayed here and he actually discovered 11 new species here. I don't know if you've heard of him. I've only heard the name because a lot of places around Ecuador, there's streets named after him. Who's this guy? Hey there, horsey. Look at you. Are you bitey? You just want to eat? Why are you doing that? I don't trust horses. Baby. What else? There's a rumor that one person who lived here Right before he died, he buried 50,000 sterling pounds somewhere on the property. It was never recovered, never found. There's a ton of stories about this place, and if you do manage to come here and stay here, then I recommend you read their website. Is pretty good. It has lots of information on it. There's plaques set up all around the place that give you information, and there's actually a Wikipedia page as well for this hacienda. Look at these trees. This is the first view coming in, driving in here, and you're just like, whoa, this place is special. You can tell right away. So the current owner, the former mayor of Cayambe, he inherited this place from his parents. It was given to him and his brothers and sisters, and he bought the brothers and sisters out and decided, I'm going to open it as a guest house. In 1993 he did that. So it's been around for a little while. What do you want? What are you worrying about? So we got 2 nights here. We're not going to do much. We're going to do some hiking around and just chill out and relax, and just, exploring the grounds is pretty cool in itself. So how much does it cost to stay here? We're spending $50 a night to stay here, which is a pretty good deal, I think, just to say you stayed in the oldest hacienda in Ecuador. Just the history, the beauty, the nature, it's all part of it, and it's... I think there's a ghost in here. I saw a ghost. Say hello. You're a creep. Let's see, here's our room. Kind of funky. They have this weird religious thing here. Got a fireplace, and we'll definitely be building up a fire tonight. And yeah, just relaxing, enjoying the oldest hacienda in Ecuador. So if $50 a night sounds good to you, you want a little piece of Ecuadorian history, then you can check the description below the video, and I'll give a link to how you can book a place like this. And that's it. Hacienda Guachala. Guachala? Guachala?
Prefer when I'm by myself. I don't wanna hang around y'all. Pray for good health. One day I'm gonna go off. Fuck around and buy the whole mall. Breaking that cake. Flexing 700 in the bank. Not a superhero, I don't save. Look at my face. Look at my grades. Don't match up, no love. Look at fate. I just fade. When I hit the jack, you can keep the pie. Every night I gamble, I stop. Yeah. When I check the cost, I was like, oh, that's expensive. Ay, Rolly flex in my ear.